Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome to JKU and to today's insightful and engaging career session. Today we are looking to have some really interesting and well-known speakers, and before we start with them, we have a special guest. We have Andrea Navarro-Quesada from the JKU Research Support Office, and she's organizing the FemMed, and we are now hearing some really insightful and interesting facts. Thank you for your coming.
Okay, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Thank you very much also to the organizers for the invitation to be here. I want to speak today about our FemMed, which is our Female Scientists in Medicine network that we created here in the Research Support Office and at the Faculty of Medicine. Why do we need these types of networks? And well, I mean, according to the World Ranking of the Best Scientists in 2023, only 6%, so in Austria, are women in the top 50. So we have only 3 women out of 50. If we have a look then among the top 10 best female scientists, 8 out of 10 work in the field of medicine. So that means we have really good women doing medical research, but somehow they're not on the top 50. The question is why? We can have, one of the explanation is, for example, this leaky pipeline that I show here. This is for Austrian universities. And it shows the amount or the percentage of students that start studying medicine. And you see in blue are women, in red are men. And we have definitely more women starting to study medicine than men. And actually, also up to the PhD, there are more women that finish their PhD in medical sciences than men. But then we have only around 27 professors, which is 27%, which is not so bad if you think of other disciplines. For example, I usually compare that with physics, where we only have 12%. Nonetheless, we are losing a lot of women on the way. And so the question that we thought about is, what can we do to stop the leak? So a brief story on how it all started. It was actually on a, let's say, warm April day in 2022 that I was talking to my colleague Sabine Spiegel-Kreinecker. She's a neurosurgeon. And we came up with the, let's say, we talked about these numbers and also about how many professors we have here in Linz in the medical sciences. And we only have 4 professors out of 21, which are female. And then we thought, okay, but we see that we have a lot of female students, we have a lot of PhDs, postdocs, and then we thought, okay, we have to do something to counterbalance that or support the careers of female scientists in medicine. So we've officially started our network, let's say an official network, with just a mailing list. So we started really small. We said, okay, we start with a mailing list. We just put all the names of all PhDs, all postdocs, and all professors, also the 4 professors, females that are working in medicine at our Faculty of Medicine. And what we do is, okay, we just start sending them really specifically some information about funding opportunities, specifically for women, but also in general, and information on coaching so that they can improve, let's say, that could help them to have this information for their career development. A website followed then soon on 2022, so same year, I think a few months later, we decided to create a website. And the idea was to make awareness that we have created this network, so we wanted to create visibility. And then we had the first kickoff event of the network on the 9th of February, 2023. And the goal was, of course, to bring together all the, let's say, participants of this mailing list for them to exchange. And also we have 2, let's say, types of researchers, clinical and preclinical, and the idea was for them to get together. And then actually at the beginning of this year, we started expanding our network, so to say. So we partnered with another network, which is the Fem Club, which is a German, Swiss, and Austrian network of female scientists in medical science in general. So they're not only, let's say, women that are really that studied medicine, but there are also, for example, biologists, chemists, physicists that all are doing research in medicine. And the goal, of course, was to expand and increase the visibility of our network, but to learn how to, let's say, network and increase the amount of people. And if we think about our network now, so we then just summarize the goal of our network as follows. So we provide targeted information regarding current programs, funding programs, prices, coaching opportunities that support the advancement of women and also activities to support their scientific careers at the JKU's Faculty of Medicine. We have 87 members. That means those are the names that we have on our mailing list. But we have, let's say about them, only about around 30 are really active. That means they really participate in all of our activities. Many, they say it's also they do not have time because they're, of course, working in the clinic, so they have to take care of patients, doing research, and also teaching, so it becomes almost impossible for them to participate in the events. And we send regularly mails with information on, as mentioned, funding opportunities and coaching events. And we continuously organize networking events. As said, in 2023, we had one event. 2024, now we have 4 events. And we are also planning some mentoring activities. That's our, let's say, an overview of our website, of our FEMED. And what we have there is we have some external links, as mentioned, to national and international funding opportunities, to other networks like our partner network FemClub, to upcoming events, coaching opportunities, mentoring. We also present the mentoring program that already exists at the JKU for scientists of all disciplines working in basic research. And of course, we post some news of the network and of our scientists. This was then the first kickoff event that we had on February 9th, 2023. We chose that day because we actually wanted to do it on the 11th, which is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, but it was a Saturday, so we decided to do it on the 9th. And the topic was making female scientists visible. So we had a moderated discussion to discuss on the importance of really visibility in a scientific career. We had 3 successful women, so Adelaide Kastner, who's a really prominent forensic psychologist, Maren Engelhardt, one of our professors, she's in anatomy and cell biology, and Susanna Zierle, also professor for pharmacology. And afterwards we had the opportunity to get together and for the also the people to do some discussion. Then the next event that we had was a World Cafe, also again now on February 13th, 2024. The objective here was to generate input or to get really, let's say, the information from the scientists themselves. What do they want? What do they expect of the network? In what direction should we go? And so we had, let's say, 4 tables. We gave them the chance to discuss about it on 4 topics: networking, personal and professional development, and just any open topic that they thought about. And afterwards, we gave them the chance to kind of prioritize or grade these results and tell us what is the most important thing for them, in which direction should we go, what should be the next step in the network. And then afterwards, we had some networking and get together. And here I just want to present you briefly some of the results of this World Cafe. So there are on the 4 topics, and there are some that are highlighted here in white. Those are, like, so to say, the most important ones that they considered are the things that we should really kind of do in immediate events. And you think it's like, for example, conflict management, we should have a pool of coaching and mentoring opportunities, or they would like to exchange with scientists of the same level. Or, for example, have a poster or a flyer of all the scientists that are part of the network. And so we're actually currently working in putting this into action. So after that World Cafe, we had another meeting, so it was a spring meeting on June, and we invited an external speaker. It's Professor Natalie Albert for nuclear medicine of the University in Munich, and she's also the founder of our partner network FemClub. And let's say the topic of her talk was, can women have a career? And the answer was a surrounding yes, a resounding yes. And she said, okay, what is really important is that really medical education is quite costly. And we are losing really a lot of, around 50% of the best well-educated physicians and researchers, and society cannot afford the loss. And after the event, we had also some networking and get-together. Just last month in September, we had then one more coaching workshop, or let's say another activity. This was a coaching workshop, which was called Looking Back from the Future. The idea was, it was an activity for the people to, or for our scientists to reflect on the important things for professional and personal development. And it was moderated by Isabella Staska, the head of the Research Support Office, who's also a coach. And then after all this activity, we had also some time of networking and get-together. And what we're planning, the next event will be next month. The topic there now will be Science Goes Enterprise. And what we want to do is we want to, let's say, motivate and discuss on entrepreneurship for female scientists, and this time we will also invite the scientists of the technical and natural science faculty of the JKU, as this is a topic that is actually, could also concern them. And we have two keynote lectures by really experts, Johannes Bracher and Jana Vereshaga, and then we will have our usual networking and get together. So wrapping up, let's say I have shown you that, okay, this FEMED network that we created started really from a really small mailing list and has developed throughout the years. It takes time. We have now organized 4 events, and we plan to keep up organizing these 4 events yearly. For example, next year we have already, at least for, of course, we have an event planned for the 11th of February with which we're planning to make something big with interdisciplinary networking. And we also have a spring meeting already planned with the topic career mentoring for female scientists. And also, this is, let's say, is like the pre-stage, because we want to then plan and really have our own mentoring program for female clinical scientists, so really for those working at the clinic. And we are planning to start this in 2026, so it's still, let's say, in the beginnings. And of course, we want to work continuously on the implementation of the further topics from the World Cafe. How much this network, let's say, brings the scientists is something that we see each time that we have these events. The way they interact with each other, we see that now they work also among clinical and preclinical researchers, and they already started writing projects together. So this is really nice to see that the network has helped to make, to get new ideas, maybe for projects. And what is important is that FEMED is really a lively network, and input is always welcome. So we always want the scientists to tell us what do they expect from us in order for us to adapt it and make it better for them. And I just want to finish with the acknowledgements. So none of this would be possible without the support of the following people. From the Faculty of Medicine, of course, our Vice Rector, Elgin Dröder, Sabine Spiegel-Kreinecker, who gave the inspiration, motivation. From the Research Support Office, Isabella Staska, Christoph Schmotz. Without him, none of the events would be possible. He helps me a lot with the organization. And the Gender and Diversity Management, Luisa Pichler, who is helping me out with the mentoring program. And with this, I just finished, and I want to thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. So now it's time, if you have any questions, please let us know. So if no one has questions, I've got a few, because I think the career network from FemMed is really amazing. So how did you come up with like doing this, although you know that it's hard for women to like think about themselves, because usually they are more reserved than men?
Well, exactly. I think that was the point. So when I was talking to Sabine, we really thought, okay, what can we do to motivate women to overcome this barrier and really kind of speak about their problem also, because part of this network is not only, of course it's supporting, but supporting in many ways. And we want them also to share their experiences, to see that maybe many of us have that problem, or many of them have the problem, and how did some of them maybe overcome it, and so that they can learn from each other. And that's one of the, let's say, the main motivation also of why we did this network. And we're really happy to see that it is positively accepted, so people like it. They ask us for more events, they ask us for more coaching, etc. And this is also motivating for us.
Thank you. Do you have time for a more private question? Sure. What if you like could talk to your 5-year-old yourself? So what would you tell her?
That's a very good question. I think I would tell her that the importance of not keeping everything for oneself, because I think that's also one of the things that we have as women, is that we somehow are isolated. We do try to do everything by ourselves, like, yeah, I can make it, I can do it. And I think we should always kind of discuss, find someone with same interests, maybe same difficulties, and try to share this in order to strengthen both, not only ourselves, but also the others.
Thank you. So now a big applause for her, and thank you. So now we are starting with the career session with our special guests as well. So please come up to stage, please. So a big welcome, please, for Christoph Praschel, Martin Trixner, Stefan Ras, Barbara Katzenhofer, and Denise Halak. So thank you for your time, and I would ask you that you could introduce yourself to us a little bit so that all the students get to know it. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christoph Praschel. I'm a computer scientist at the University of Applied Sciences in Upper Austria, so at the campus in Hagenberg. And I'm a computer scientist. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to solve problems with the help of my computers, with my programs, with my algorithms. And the reason why I'm sitting here is that I'm mostly on the interface and intersection between computer science stuff, but also with medicine topics. So my colleague Martin Trixner next to me is one of my project partners, and this is the reason why I'm here today.
Okay, hello, good morning. My name is Martin Trixner. I'm co-founder of the company Vaco. We started about 6 years ago with developing 3D products for customers. And after a while we said, okay, we had some problems with selling our products, and we were not really efficient. So we said, okay, we have to look to get more efficient in our production process. And so we've looked for a software who can help us. We did not find anything which fitted our what we wanted to have, what we needed. So we said, okay, we have to develop it up by our own. And then Christoph Praschel helped us with this project. So we started a project where we developed automatic process of modeling 3D templates to fit to a hand, for example, because our core business is the orthopedic technician or orthopedic business. And so we started to develop this software 3 years ago. It was an FFG project together with the University of Hagenberg and some other partners like sensor technology and medicine. The medicine was involved in that too. And till now we're developing that. So we're kind of a startup in that case. And this is, I think, why I'm here.
Good morning from my side also. I'm Stefan Rass. I'm a professor for secure systems at the LIT Secure and Correct Systems Lab. I'm actually a mathematician and a computer scientist by training. So I went to a school, which we have in Austria, the HTL, the technical school, and learned there that math actually is really more a tool than a pain, as many students feel in school. And eventually I came to the thinking, like, I do like math, but operationalizing it is kind of boring, cumbersome. So computers can do that very well. So why not do the combination operationalizing math using computers? That brought me to my studies. So until the end, I couldn't even decide would I rather be a mathematician or a computer scientist. So I decided just why not stay both. And did my PhD in math, and then became a professor at JKU today, where I am working on security, which is a perfect interdisciplinary aspect where I can, let's say, have as much fun as people, as criminal people might have, but only on a very legal side and helping the society. But still, I can be evil and feel good about it. I guess what brought me here is still that I'm, until today, and starting from school even back then, I still do what I love. And solving problems and working on problems like brain teasers is what really I think is the best about science. I have zero talent nor any patience for things like Sudoku, and I still don't know many words to do a crossword puzzle as efficient as my mother-in-law maybe do. But I like cracking problems. And the good thing is I can do this and even get paid for it. And that's actually what brought me to science. And I guess that the day I'm going to stop working on that will be the same day when I stop breathing. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. And of course, open to any questions afterwards, but handing over the stage.
Thank you. My name is Barbara. I'm not as funny as you, but I try my best. I'm working in the personnel management at the JKU. I'm there the head of the travel management and also of the accounting department. We are 30 people who are doing all the stuff for over 4,000 people. We are in charge for the JKU and also Med University and all the small departments around Vienna, Bregenz, Salzburg, Innsbruck, so we are in charge for everybody. My personal way was I started my career at the medicine section, went to the sport management, did a lot of degrees there, and then I decided, oh, I love organization, I love speaking with people who have a lot of knowledge and other knowledge, so I took the chance to start here my career and also got the Bachelor for Public Management. Now I'm doing my Master's and maybe the PhD afterwards. And why I'm here and why I'm at the JKU, because it's a place where there are a lot of people with different knowledges, with different backgrounds. You can collaborate, you can get a lot of new interest ways, and it's a place with a lot of innovations. So like you see a lot of different people sitting here up, and we are all sitting today here to show you that there are a lot of different ways to work at the university.
Yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Denise and I'm CEO at Tabakfabrik. I studied social economics and sociology at JKU beginning 2006 to 2011. And I learned a lot at university not actually at the courses, probably. I got engaged in a lot of things at university, and I really like it here. And nowadays, maybe some of you don't know Tabakfabrik. It's a big heritage protected area in the center of Linz, and it's owned by the city of Linz. And it was bought by the city of Linz nearly 15 years ago, and it was an old factory where tobacco was produced. And the industry, especially in Upper Austria or in Linz, had a really big role, but it went down by the years. And the city of Linz was really courageous and bought the area. And nowadays we have 250 organizations there, schools, parts of university, from arts and science, but also we have, galleries. And what we are trying to do is building a new city, a new part of the city where we concentrate on creativity and collaboration. And well, why I'm sitting here? Actually, maybe because I really love what I'm doing, and that's my main key success factor, that it's important to find something you like and then do everything to reach it. And I did a lot of courses I didn't really need for my degree, so I studied a lot. I visited a lot of courses to find out what I like. And when you have the time to find out what you like, and then you found it, it's the first step to be successful, I would say.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself and your really impressive speeches. So before I ask the publicum for questions, I've got a personal question for you all. What advice would you give each student if you could tell them what should be successful, or how they can be successful, not only for their career but also in personal, so they can self-develop?
Who wants to start? I think.
No, sorry, I can start. Well, I think it's important to find your purpose, and sometimes it has nothing to do with a career or how much money you earn. It's more finding a purpose for what drives you. And that's the main important thing, I would say, to find something that drives you and get engaged, helping other people. For me, whole of my life, I was by the Scouts, so I like scouting, and it's something it drives me. And I think it's important to define your values and your purpose, and then, you have to work for it, and you should define what's success for you. And if you want to be successful in your job, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of hours to be successful, and you should want to pay the price you have to pay.
I want to add, sometimes it changes. Sometimes you start, like me, with the medicine injection, and I love it. I'm still doing it. I'm still making courses around my medicine stuff. But I changed personally. I like working with people. I like organization. I like strategy. I like operative management. And so I changed my path. But I can put everything I learned into my new job. So like you said, find your love and don't be afraid to change your path, and also be not afraid to get out of your comfort zone. And the most thing is really have love for your job, for the people you're talking with, you're working with. And if you change 2 years later, so what? Do it, because we are happy to be in Europe. We have the chance to change it. We can go a new path. You can go around the whole world to find your job. You love it because you will do your job a long time. Think about it. And you need to be happy at your job. And so that's one of my advices. I think I have a lot of, but this is one of the main advice. Don't be afraid to change your path, and don't be afraid to do new things and get out of your comfort zone and have fun and love with your job. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I guess I don't have too much advice on different ways of taking a career. What I can tell you is what actually worked for me. When I was a child, or children are generally very curious. Like, just speaking from my daughter when she was like 6 years old and asked me what actually comes after infinity. So she was learning numbers and was wondering, okay, there is an infinity, so what comes after infinity? And that's an actually very, very good and legitimate question. Well, one of the answers is the ordinal numbers, other answer is the hyperreal. So there is lots of after infinity. The point, however, is that curiosity is what children have. And at some point, when you grow up, you sort of lose this, or you actually get trained to not ask certain questions just because they're stupid. And that's actually something you need to avoid. So what I think, what I could retain and salvage until my life as a grown-up is this kind of childish curiosity. I still get fascinated by things that my wife is just shaking her head about. I do like watching cartoons, as my kid was. Now my kid is grown up and doesn't like cartoons anymore, so I have to watch alone. But what I guess is that the love for my job is really coming out of the curiosity that I had as a child. So children are curious about what they learn, what is new. They like to go to school, and at some point this is lost for reasons that I can only speculate about. But if you can retain this curiosity and fun and interest in anything new, I guess all the rest comes by itself. And when working as a scientist, I remember one wonderful line that one of my professors told me once, who said that every child is a scientist on the inside, and every scientist is also a child on the inside. And that's, I think, the basic message that I can give, at least if you're thinking about a career in science. What you need is curiosity, and what you also need is imagination. Kids have that, and grown-ups who retain it are qualified to become real good scientists. And I guess that's my basic message that I can give you, apart from, of course, underlining all that was said previously. But yeah, love what you do, and the success will come.
A lot of things were told. Yeah, I founded my first business in 2002, and I had no idea how to do it. I was self-employed, and I did not get the knowledge from my parents to handle that, and so it was often very hard and difficult to be self-employed, because you don't know anything about finance, about contacting people, get projects and whatever. So I just knew what I about my business, to develop projects, develop websites, for example. So, but so I had to learn a lot of things in my career till now, and I'm not finished. That's for sure. But the most important, I would say, is to be communicative. Communicative, yeah. Talk to the people, talk to your partners, talk to the customers, whatever. It's I think the most important about it is to be communicative, to enhance your communication skills when you present something, when you have a problem, when you be happy about a project you did well. So try to communicate as much as you can. For me, is always the very important phrase is sharing is caring. So when you share your knowledge, you have the people around you which help you when you have a problem, which can also be happy with you when you have made a good solution for something, whatever. So yeah, this is, I think, that for me it was always the most important part of the business, to talk to the people.
I think I can continue on 2 points of view. So on the one side, Stefan said that curiosity is key, more or less. So if you keep your curiosity like a child, you can be successful because you're doing what you're interested in. One thing that I want to make clear, curiosity leads to multiple interests. So no one of us is just interested in one single thing. So for me, it was always, I'm pretty curious for computers, for how computers are working. But in addition to that, I'm also pretty curious for more creative things like photography. And like that, something that led my way was I always wanted to try to combine my interests. How can I combine photography, visual things with computers? So what I'm doing nowadays is mostly computer vision stuff. So trying to learn a computer, to teach a computer how to interpret an image, how to analyze an image. And like that, I was able to combine all the things that I have been doing for multiple years, for many, many years. And like that, I'm doing two things what I love. And like that, it's like likewise the play of both of the sides, because if something isn't that interesting at the moment, I can switch to the other part and back and forth. And something that also comes with my job is, as an assistant professor and as a research project manager, I have to be with people, talk with people, to get to networking events, talk and find additional partners, students who are interested in working with you. So this is also something that comes as an additional point. Try to talk to people, go out there. It was definitely something that I wasn't used to back in the days. I really, really hated presenting things in school. It was the most terrible thing for me. But nowadays it's more or less my daily job. So not like the stages here today, but staying in front of students is a part of my job nowadays. And if I would ask myself 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it would be something that would be really just impossible for me.
Thank you so much. So if we combine all your answers, those are the success stories that also could lead EC2U to success, because doing what you love, being curious, communicate and combine things is everything that EC2U should do. So thank you for your answer to that. And we are coming to the public. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, so you're in the back.
I don't want to point. I don't know your name. Yes. Yeah. I'm also in the health area because I study pharmacy, but I also have a love for organization and being with people, etc. But I didn't understand what you really do now instead of medicine.
Now I'm at the personal management, so I'm at the head of department of travel management and accounting management. So there is no specialty for medicine at the moment. But I'm doing this next to my job. So before there I was a therapist and also doing sports therapy before. And then I switched to sport. There I was in the management and also did the medical stuff there. And in this time I found out that I really love organization and management and strategic and operative management, and that's why I switched to the public management. So now I'm only at the personal management, not doing special things with heels at the moment. But you can also go to management at the hospital. You think when you have some medical background, you also can have there multiple things to work there. So there are multiple jobs with a mix between health and also management.
Have there been any more questions?
I would have a question to all of you, actually. So you told us a little bit about in which career position you are at the moment. I was wondering which career steps did it take to end up there?
Mine is short.
Ladies first.
So I'm at the university since 3 years now. I just wanted to come here for a part-time job for 20 hours. After 2 weeks, there was one free position, so I switched to a 40-hour job because next to it I was studying, so I only wanted to do 20, but then I was 40. And I did, I think, a really good job because after this, 1 year later, I got the head of the department. Yeah, so that's why for me it's a very short answer. You have any questions about this or? No, okay.
Actually, I never planned to have a career. I just started as a waitress when I started with university because my mom was single parent, so I had to work. And then I had a lot of mini jobs while I studied. At the high time, I had 3 jobs, just always small jobs, and I learned at every job. I learned a lot. And then I entered Ars Electronica Center as info trainer. As you told, I really hated to speak in front of people. I hate it. And as an info trainer, you do a lot of tours through the center and the museum. And so you train every day to speak in front of people. And then after that, I got a 20-hour job at the public sector. And it was always just, I always did something, I had the feeling that I could learn something there. And when I had the feeling that I couldn't learn something there, I searched for the next job. But it was, I never planned to become CEO. I just wanted to do something where I could learn something.
Okay, career path in science, mine was maybe a bit longer. So starting with the studying, of course, then became an assistant. So I got a position as a PhD student at the university. Finished the PhD, then was very lucky to have a position as a postdoc, which we now have in 2 flavors. And the one I got was what they call a qualifying agreement. So you get a postdoc with the option of being tenured, which is permanent employed. University contracts are typically limited to up to 4 years, up to 6 years, depending on the position. So tenure is a permanent position, and mine was with an option to be tenured. So I got that after 2 years evaluation. They would choose if they would give me the chance to become tenured, and then giving me another 4 years to do a habilitation. So that's all the postdoc phase. Then became habilitated, was an associate professor after that. And from that point onwards, started slowly applying for full professor positions, and finally got appointed a full professor, and that's the position I'm still now. I still have now, and but overall career path in science is in this way a bit longer. So it's 4 years for the PhD, it's 4 to 6 years for a postdoc, and after that you can start applying for full professor. So 10 years plus with time-limited contracts.
Career, okay. Yeah, I was, a long time ago, I studied computer science here at the University of Linz, and after a while, I had to work next to my studies, so to live. And but after a while, I was working more and more, and there was a point where I said, okay, what do I want to do? And so I quitted studying here. Maybe this was a fault, I don't know. And worked full time for companies in Linz, Vienna, and so on. But I loved what I was doing, the same as you said. But after a while, I started with my first business. 7 years later, I started another one because I had a chance with 2 partners to enhance my business and get a part of a bigger project. So 8 years later, as it is, sometimes we had our visions were not the same anymore, and I stopped I I quitted the partnership in this business and founded my third business, my third company. And 6 years ago, as I told you before, Markus Walkolbinger, my partner, came to me with the idea to digitalize, that's a stupid word, digitize the orthopedic technology. And so this was the career, a few steps, a few projects. We will see what's the future.
From myself, it was kind of like more straightforward, although it was never planned. So my family has no academic background. So in my family, I was the first guy who studied anything. And like that, I had never the vision of how it could be in the future for myself. And for me, it was more or less the lucky situation. Because at the University of Applied Sciences, where I'm now working, and I also studied there, we have the situation that you have to do students' projects during the fourth and the fifth semester. And what you're doing there is project for companies, so real-world unpaid projects, and you're getting mentorship from one of the professors of the university. And this professor came back to me and offered me the chance to work as a research assistant at our university, many, many years ago in the meantime, and I just stayed. So working from one research project to the other, getting known to many, many different things, and over the years I finally get the chance to not only work in the research projects, but also to manage them and to plan them and to bring up ideas like the idea with together with Martin and Markus together. And since then, I also started to do lectures at the university, but not only at my university, but also at other universities like the Management Center in Innsbruck, like the University for Veterinary Medicine in Vienna, and so on and so on. And this also leads to the second role that I'm taking in, that I'm also doing lectures as an assistant professor. And like that, I have both roles, the research and also the lecturing part. And yeah, as mentioned, it was never my plan. I just got into it somehow, and it's like, where am I today?
Thank you. So are there any further questions?
Thank you. Hi. You already started reminiscent in the past, and you also touch upon the question that I wanted to ask. But anyways, we all know that it all starts with us, right? So our personal growth, development, it all starts with us. But also the environment matters. So my question is, what used to be at the universities, right? So what universities used to have, what they have now, and what would be good for the universities to have in order to make the career path for students, well, not easier, but maybe clearer.
I guess the biggest advantage of the environment that I had was that it was actually small. So I could get in touch with the professors. I could make myself visible to the professors. That's much, much more difficult if you're at a bigger university like Vienna. So it's not that the people there wouldn't be interested in the students, there are just too many of them. You can't get in touch with every student in a lecture with 1,000 people inside. But since I was having lectures, especially in math, where I would count the professor in, and we were 3. So, but we had the lecture theater with 600 seats, so we had space. In that sense, I had the chance actually to really get involved with people and get in touch with people. And at a smaller university, and I wouldn't actually call JKU exactly small, but JKU has a size that allows this. So, and this is one of the things I like about this particular place, that we are, let's say, small enough so that I can really get to know my students, and that really helps a lot. And as far as I can judge from other, let's say, big names, famous universities, they aren't exactly huge in many cases. They're actually also small, size-wise comparable to JKU.
I would actually completely agree. So in my case, it was the same situation. So in Hagenberg, our university isn't as big as JKU, it's smaller. So like that, also the classes are smaller, and especially as I mentioned before, our students' projects are typically something around 10 people with one professor mentoring those. So this is actually, it was in my case the best situation to get in touch with the people and get to know to people who can help me with my career also, if it wasn't planned.
And from the management sector, I could say there is more diversity. There are more people coming in with other backgrounds. So there are coming in more new ideas, faster ideas, other ideas. Like I also, at my apartment in the last year, I did a lot of process searching, make it smaller, shorter, compacter. Because we know in Austria, I say it now in German because I don't know the English word, the Bürokratie. So we have long ways when you need a formula to put something in, to give it to some people, to give a formula to 5 different people to give a stamp on it. So we quit this shorter, smaller, faster processes. But this will get in with new people, new diversity, new ideas. And this is also at the moment, now I'm happy to be here because at the moment we see also in the management is changing a lot. It's getting faster, new ideas coming, new systems coming, new digitality coming. So it's also like the answer is diversity.
Maybe I just add one remark here. It is certainly true that a good affiliation, if you speak about environment, so the affiliation actually matters a lot. So it does make a difference if people write Harvard University under a project application, and that is scientifically backed up. So those proposals do have a higher chance, no matter what's inside, but the affiliation actually counts. The ironic truth here is that actually the opposite is true. So it's not the environment that makes you good, it's you that make the environment good. It's likewise with publications. So publications count more if they're published in Nature, although the opposite actually makes it, the paper makes the journal good, not the journal makes the paper good. So the environment should actually, yes, it's a matter, it does matter, it practically does. However, personally, I think that you matter more to the environment as the environment matters to you.
Thank you. Do we have any further questions?
Hello. So thank you for letting us know your way of your career, and it seems that you really found your place. I was just wondering if you have any advice for people who are like struggling or facing problems or obstacles or having self-doubt. Do you have any strategies or methods like which helped you to find your way and made you some decisions which lead you to your position now?
Okay, so yeah, maybe I can add a few things. Like, to me, self-doubt is a sign of intelligence. I recognize idiots from the fact that they are very sure about everything they do. The other thing about struggle, I would say, don't be afraid to fail. I had heard a wonderful quote. I don't know who said it, but it's definitely not me, but I actually remember it very well. There was one person saying, I never lose. Either I win or I learn something. And the fact is, you learn from failure. It's not difficult to win, but you don't learn much about winning. You learn from failure. So struggling is a necessary thing. Failure is also necessary, but be assured that nobody, no matter which position this person is, has never failed. And if you read, I don't actually read many biographies, but what I do get from career paths of these like super rich people, there is a reason why companies like Google, Amazon, or so, they all come up in America. Reason is that Americans, as far as I can tell from my personal sample to people who I know, they're actually not afraid of failing. So they try, they fail, they try again, they fail again, they try a third time, and so on. And that's the same as you would have, as I would give you as an advice. If you fail, so be it. Everyone fails. The question is not how often you fail, the question is how often you get up. And struggling is normal. Everyone has it. What you should not fall victim to is the false impression of what we call the floating duck syndrome. Floating duck syndrome means that people apparently that everything runs smooth for them. But that's just the view from the outside. You don't know how much these people struggle, how much these people self-doubt. And so be sure you're in very good company. And we all have been, everyone who actually has a degree of a certain level has come through the valley of pain. And we even tell our PhD students, because that's a phase in life where people are really questioning themselves and the sense of what they do if you're doing a PhD. And what we keep telling our students that, well, if you wouldn't go through the valley of pain, the PhD thesis would just be a longer master thesis. But what you get the PhD degree for is actually that you have pushed through this. And that's what you earn the PhD for. And that's, I think, but maybe a question to industry people, that is also why people hire, or why industry people hire people with a PhD. It's not about the education. You can buy a book for that. It's about people who actually overcome obstacles and overcome problems out of their own power. And that's, I think, normal and part of this. And if you get through that, you have earned your degree. But be sure that everyone has went through that, so you're very good company.
Yes, there's not so many to add. The only thing is, don't look sideways. Don't look to your partners next to you. Maybe the path for her is the right, but not for you. And it's also like he said, you can struggle, you can fall down, but learn from it, stand up, and do it again, or do it otherwise. So I was working in sports for over 5 years. Sport people are struggling a lot. I learned so much also from coaches from the US, from coaches from Slovenia, from coaches from Spain, otherwise. So I learned a lot of team building and a lot of standing up and do it again and do it better, and don't blame yourself, never, because it's your way, it's your decision and your path. And maybe one failure show you another path, and that's the way you want to be happy. So just sit down, take a deep breath, and go up and do it again.
Yeah, as I told you, for me, a very important thing about when you're struggling is the same as I said before, communicate. Because when nobody knows that you're struggling, nobody can help you. So even if you're struggling, you can talk to people, you can tell them how you feel, what's the problem. I think it's very important because when I founded my first business, after a while, after 7 years, I was kind of struggling because I was self-employed and I was doing everything by my own, and yeah, it did not feel good after a while because I could not share my good moments, share my bad moments. So, and I told other people about that I was not happy with the situation, and this was and because of that, I got the chance to be part of a bigger project because I told people that I was not feeling well with the situation. So for me, I think it's also very important to talk to the people, to share your feelings, to share your good and bad moments.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of self-struggles when I studied, and I began to write a diary. When I wrote my master thesis, like I had a goal to write every day a special amount of words so that I can finish my thesis at the right time. And I continued to write this diary when when I have not such a good time, I always write in what is it, why I'm struggling, how am I feeling, and when you look back and see what you overcome and what you reached, it can help you to have a good feeling to go further and push yourself further. And it's okay to be not okay. And it's okay to say that you struggle at the moment and that you have a hard time. It makes things easier because everybody's struggling, and not everybody can speak it out, but you help other people by speaking it out that you struggle, and maybe you can find someone who's also struggling at the same things, and you can help each other overcoming the problems, and when you look back, you hopefully realize that you did a good job at the last years, and you overcome so much, and you reached so much. You're here, you're studying, it's so much worth, and that's what I would advise you.
I think I can't really add anything else to that. So, although I mentioned beforehand that my career was kind of like straight, and I started with the students project, and it's more like really a straight line until my position right now. But this really doesn't tell you that I never have any self-issues. So I was struggling, although on that way, although it looks pretty perfect from an outside perspective. So of course there was concerns during this path, especially since I wasn't from an academic family. I wasn't aware what I was or what I could expect from going to the university, what being to be employed in the university, and like that, talking to other people, and especially also talking to people who are next to me at the university who are maybe having the same problems helped me a lot. So as all the colleagues before mentioned, I think communicating and talking to others really, really helps you, because you don't have to carry this back on your own.
Well, I do have a question too. So very nice. It was very nice to hear from all your experiences. Thank you very much for sharing. And I also do have a question about what, in your perspective, would be the most helpful, most useful skills or experience to enter your field. Thank you.
Maybe I start. I really think it's something that we're going to repeat. So I think it's always two things. Independently what way you want to go. So it's your curiosity. So don't stay at the point. Try to develop yourself, and also be aware of that you're going to struggle. Be aware of that you're going to fail, but stand up again. Try it again, and go your way as you want to look it like at the end.
So maybe I would say teamwork makes the dream work, but no pain, no gain. So that's the two things I would say.
Yes, I would also say from my side, if you ask for the most important experience that I made to get me where I am, would possibly be the failure of my first PhD attempt. So I actually changed my topic once in my PhD because I actually, the first topic failed. And that I miserably failed. Not because I was wrong, but because I found a result that was already found somewhere in the 1950s. And I dug up a book, very dusty, almost forgotten, and until today, it's not actually a well-known theory. But nonetheless, it has been found. So I had to restart my PhD completely, not because I was wrong, but just because I was the second, or to rediscover that. And even though the name is called research, doesn't mean to have to find it again to be good. No, but the lesson that I got from that was not additional knowledge, but it told me that, first of all, I can solve problems apparently, so I'm smart enough to find a way or a solution. And the second is, my personal strength to actually overcome this. So what I took away from it was the confidence, well, even if I fail a second time, I will overcome it. So maybe ironically, some people or many people would say the cornerstones of the milestones of their career were certain successes. If you would ask me, things that I really think were milestones in my path in life were partly also big failures, because they told me the bigger lessons.
So far, so to succeed, you have to fail.
In a way, yes.
And stand up and be yourself. And I think, what can I add? There is so much good things here said, like teamwork makes the dream work, yes, and no pain, no gain. I'm definitely in. For me also, get out of your comfort zone and don't be afraid to be yourself. And don't be afraid to get into new paths. Like with me, I've started at the hill section. I was happy there, no problem. I really was happy there, but it was enough for me. So in the part I was at the therapy part, I was happy. But then I went to sports and I got a lot of new informations. I got a lot of new curiosity. And now I'm here. It's not finished for me. So I'm here now, I'm happy now, but I'm not finished. I'm still curious of a lot of things, and I want to build up my career higher. So do it and follow your heart, and don't be afraid to fail and stand up. Yeah. Yes.
What I learned in my career was, every failure was the chance to learn something new. Because every time when I started something new, it was kind of a rebirth, and the situation changed, and I had the chance to learn different things than before, because I quitted that thing before, and I said, okay, it is done, and I started a new one. And so, and with the new project, situation, whatever, I had the chance to learn new things, and this may always help me to enhance my experiences.
I want to add one more thing. Don't get us wrong. You don't need to go out and make failure. Yeah? You're also good when you do not make failures. But the most important part we want to tell you, it's nothing wrong if you make a fail. You just need to stand up and go your path. That's it. And believe in yourself.
Yes. Maybe I can just let you know what my personal view on whatever I was doing was, I do my best, as good as I can, and whatever comes out of that will be what I deserve. And again, there is another famous not famous, but one quote that I remember is, of a person who said, if I were to die tomorrow, I wouldn't have any regrets, because I did what I liked, I did it as good as I can, and this is as much as one can want. And I guess that's it. So be faithful to yourself. It's okay to be you, and you should actually be you, because all the others already exist. So be yourself. And if your path isn't what other people think your path should be, well, let other people think what they think. You're the only person who has to live with her or himself 24/7. And I'm the only person who's going to be with me until my last breath. So it's important that I like myself, and it's important that I think I never deviated from the path that felt right to me. And even if that in some cases can mean that you don't make the career that other people make. So you might not earn as much money as other people, you might not be as successful in what you do. However, you should always do what you think is right, not what other people think is right. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take recommendations from other people, far from that. So take recommendations, but be faithful to yourself. And if you fail, you fail. But if you stand up, well, then in the end, it was your path, not somebody else's. And that's what makes it valuable.
Hello. I actually have like many variants of one question, but it is, what is the role of internationals at your workplace? And maybe you have some advice how to apply for a job as like being an international student.
So for myself, I'm working together in a research group. So it's not me working alone at projects. So our research projects are typically including many, many people. And this also includes international people. So we typically have people from around Europe during the semesters coming up and saying, hey, I'm interested to get to know into research. I want to work into research. Do you have anything suitable? And what typically I'm doing then is that I talk to the people. Those are the projects that we're currently working at. Those are the topics. And what are your curiosities? What are your interests? And what I'm trying is to find a match. Find a match of what you want to do and what I have to, or what I can offer you in a position as a research assistant or helping us with that work. So in the end, the very, very first start is just come up, talk to the people, and get to know to each other. And there will be, most of the time, some option to collaborate, to work together with you at some topics.
I would actually underline this. So personally speaking, I do have things that I want to do. I do have research questions that I want to work on, and whoever can help me working on those research questions is welcome. I don't care about any cultural background. I don't care about nationality. I don't care about gender, for a very simple reason. We're not on a date. We're on research here. So what matters to me is what people bring into this group. From where they bring it in geographically is of no interest. And the only thing that matters in this regard is the bureaucracy about, let's say, giving work permission and something. But that's an organizational stuff. But other than that, if people are interested, if they're motivated, if they, let's say, can convince or can show that they can actually add something, a perspective maybe that I don't have, or maybe even asking very good questions. So even a good sparring partner can be very helpful, challenging what we do. I guess the simple answer is whenever you're international or not, just apply for the job. At least at JKU, we're full of internationals here. So all the groups that I know are very, very diverse in terms of nationalities, in terms of languages. So at least for JKU at this place, internationals are more than welcome.
Yeah, at Tabakfabrik we are a small group of people. We are not even 20 people working for the organization, but there are nearly 3,000 people at the whole area working, and there are lots of internationals from different perspectives, like the RD internationals and the one in AI. So if you are interested, just come up to us. Maybe you want to write a master thesis about building up a new creative part of the city, or how we can, how innovation can be pushed forward. But we don't have actually jobs for you to offer. I say now, so don't you have any any idea? But we can collaborate and cooperate. But the thing is that for us it's hard to offer new jobs. Yeah, at the moment.
So thank you. Are there any last questions? So I think now we come to an end. So thank you so much for being here, telling us so much inspiring things. I think we can all use it also not only for our private lives, but also for EC2U, especially with your ideas and mentioning that failure is fine as long as we learn out of it. And yeah, so thank you very much.